This is Jennifer Fitzgerald at College Planning Strategies, and we are going to get started now. So you're going to get the top 3 things that families actually do wrong when doing college planning strategies so that you can avoid it. You're going to hear from the top scholarship specialist today, Miss Cheryl Sington, and then I'm going to offer you even more help so that you can succeed. So I am super excited. If you can't tell, you should be super excited because we at College Planning Strategies are going to make this process easy and fun. So let's get right to the interview and stay tuned afterwards for the next best offer.
It's Jennifer Fitzgerald here, and I am here with Miss Cheryl Sington. She is an industry specialist when it comes to college planning, and so I wanted you to meet her and get to know a little bit about her. Hello, Cheryl. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks, and thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, Cheryl, just for our audience sake, we are here learning a little bit about scholarships and grants, and this is an area that Cheryl really focuses in on. Although she has a very amazing, diversified background, and you get to know a little bit about her. We ironically both have a background as professional dancers. Myself is in ballet, and I'll let Cheryl tell you a little bit more about herself. So Cheryl, tell us a little bit about before college planning, and then we'll talk about that too.
Well, like she said, I worked in the industry for many, many years as a professional dancer and other parts of the industry, actor, singer, but was very fortunate to be able to work with some great people throughout for many, many years. And then I began working on the other side of the industry in directing and choreographing, which put me into some different school settings. And that pushed me to pursue my educational background, which was a master's in educational administration. And then as I worked more and more on the educational side of things, I pursued my psychology, my master's in psychology, and then my doctorate in psychology. And that has really afforded me a much bigger picture in terms of working with not only higher education, it's also afforded me the opportunity to work in everything from K through 12 and secondary education as well. So I have been able to work on both sides of that and really learn the ins and outs of all of that and how to really work with families and help them plan the process of picking the right schools from everything, like I said, from K through 12 to the colleges, and then looking for the ways to make sure that that happens and there are no obstacles in the way for that.
Awesome. So I heard your story a little bit once before too, and there was actually some pretty specific reasoning why you got started in the college planning side of it. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was. What I found when I was working in higher education was that there was plenty of money federally for the baseline poverty level or need-based families.
Right.
And then there were the families that could write a check and send their kids to school, no issues. But the larger percentage of families that really wanted their children to get the college education were either two parents working, or even single parent families, and they needed some help. They may have planned for them to go to college. They may have put aside some money to go to college, but it just wasn't enough. And as the cost in college rose, the obstacles were becoming larger and larger, and many families just weren't pursuing that process. And I fell into that as well. I mean, I was that middle class family, and so there was such a large component of that. It really tugged at my heart to step away and help those families. So I stepped away from public and private education and started my own consulting business and worked one-on-one with families or groups and help them with that process and really planning and finding the right funds to make sure that nothing is in the way of families and kids that want to go to college.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Because that is a huge thing today, right? $1.5 trillion in college loan debt currently and rising, unfortunately. That is one of the things that I'm pretty passionate about myself. Having gone to college 3 times and paid for it all 3 times by myself, not a whole lot of funding there and everything. I can totally feel what that feels like to be part of that statistic, unfortunately, and understand. Now, I have a child who, we are right at the beginning stages of starting to look into college planning for him, and I really don't want him to have to worry about the debt like I went through in my life. So that's definitely one of the reasons why I got on this path as well. So one of the things that I have heard, Cheryl, is that only about 3% of the money that's spent that gets utilized to put people through college comes from scholarships and grants. Is that what you've heard?
About 3 to 5%, but much of that is because there is untapped money,
right?
And that is a process. It is a process, but it is a process by which people don't spend the time or don't know which path to take to find that money,
right?
And that's an unfortunate thing, and that's probably one of the biggest things that I help my clients with in terms of finding the path to locate that money. You always want to look at scholarship and grant money, the free money versus the loans.
Exactly. Like that's exactly why I wanted to talk to you today, because I know, just so you guys know out in the audience, from having sat down with Cheryl and some of her families, that, I personally help families on the financial side, realigning their finances so that they can get the lowest cost of college possible. But that's where Cheryl comes in, and she comes in and makes it so she literally has students that are making money on the backside, right? Because they've gotten so much scholarship. So I think Cheryl's students are more along the lines of, once we get the ticket price as low as possible, then Cheryl comes in and finds everything that's needed in order to pay for all the expenses, not just a portion of it, which is a huge deal. So that is amazing, Cheryl. So are there tools out there that families can go out and find on their own, right? Everything's done on Google today. And obviously there probably are, but how difficult is that to find?
It's not difficult if you if you take the time and you Google it, you're going to get a million different scholarships that come up. And then you can, of course, do the filters and filter out many things that come. What you have to be very, very careful of are scholarship scams.
Oh.
And there are tons out there.
Wow.
You never pay for a scholarship. You never pay for a scholarship.
Okay.
And there are many out there that will say, join this and you're eligible for these scholarships and those kinds of things. So there are tons of scholarship scams. So you need to be, aware of those.
Wow.
And then as you
write
filter,
this down. Sorry.
you need to be aware of, all the fine print and what goes where, and if they go to certain schools or if they're national or if they're specific. It is a time-consuming process. I'm not going to lie, and it does take a tremendous amount of time to find those that specifically go to or for what you are looking for. But you can do it. Anybody can do it.
That was my next question, was about how much time would, because today's society, we are busy. Like, everyone's busy, go, 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 go. Like, we don't even have time to sit down and have dinner with our children, let alone do we have the time and resources to sit down and research all these different places and make sure, like you said, like, I didn't even know there was scholarship scams. That's crazy. That's an awesome tip. But how much time, you've spent a lot of time, so you already know where to go and how to avoid these things. So that would definitely be a benefit to utilizing your services, right?
Right. I will tell you this. Like I said, anybody can do it, but you have to have a tremendous amount of time.
Right.
Part of what I do is, I do give responsibility to the client themselves. It's not your parents' job. It's the student's job. But at the same time, I can delineate and filter it so that the scholarships that you are applying for are the scholarships that are actually going to be applicable to what you're going to, what you're needing, those kinds of things. And you're not applying for 250 scholarships that maybe one of those is something that is going to work for you.
Right.
So that's the difference in working with someone that knows the scholarship and grant process and can bring the scholarships directly to you if you're going to be an engineer, if you're going to be a dance major, if you're going to be a teacher, if you're going to be a computer scientist, whatever you're going to be, and we can bring those scholarships. And we can also, and then I also work with you with the financial aid office and helping make sure that you have your best package from them and that sort of thing, and negotiate and help you identify the scholarships through the college,
right,
and in different departments. So it just helps streamline the process if you don't have the time.
Right.
In your life that so many of us do not have in this day and time.
We have negative amounts of time, right? Exactly. And that's what, a lot of this stuff is all about, is making sure that you guys out there are getting the best tips so that you don't have to spend any excess time. So Cheryl, what are like the top 3 things that you think that most parents miss when college planning? Say like they didn't come see you or myself and they're like out there on their own, and like top 3 things that.
Number 1, they throw away a college choice because of the cost right off the bat.
Right.
Which you should never do that, because there are ways to make that happen.
Right.
And there are ways to make that happen debt free.
Exactly.
Number 2, going ahead and asking for the help, because it is, I think I'm answering your question, right?
Yeah.
What they didn't do. Yes.
Yeah.
Going ahead and asking for the help, because the college counselors are so overwhelmed in their jobs at the schools,
Right.
whether it's public or private. They're going to help the top 2% of the classes, and then they're going to help the bottom of the class that really have to graduate and get those numbers up. So the ones in the middle sort of get lost in the shuffle.
Right.
So just being able to step outside of your comfort zone and ask for the help. Those are the 2 things. And then planning ahead as far as you can is planning ahead. I go back as far as elementary school in terms of being able to put away money for scholarships. But even if you're a junior, even if you're a senior, there are some things you can do. But the further you plan ahead, the better it is for you to be able to, put away pieces of the pie and use that towards college.
Right. That actually was my next question. How early, like in the ideal, everything's perfect, you're doing it like 100% to the T. How early should a parent start planning for college?
Well, a lot of parents start with the 1029s and things like that when their children are born, or they'll start with prepaid, different things like that. But that dollar amount value has gone down and down and down. Even our Bright Futures value has gone down. So as long as you're adding to the pie, you can start as young as elementary school with small scholarships like community service, things, scholarships and things like that. If you're not ready to start at that point, you can start in middle school with different special scholarships for community service and other things. The Do the Right Thing scholarship is available in middle school, and different things that come available, and just other things that are available for different opportunities in middle school. And then as you get into high school is where you really need to start thinking about it by 9th grade. And of course, if you haven't done that by 11th grade, you definitely got to get in there and get going.
Right. Yeah. So that's awesome. Elementary school scholarships. Another one that, I'm sure a lot of people don't even think about it, because college is probably the furthest thing from their mind when they're still in elementary school. So, wow,
exactly.
I gotta get off the boat. I gotta go start looking for those now. Awesome. And then just finally, I want to totally appreciate you for coming and doing this with me. And we are hoping that Cheryl is going to actually join our team and be a part of our program here for you guys. So make sure you check back with us on that. But Cheryl, outside of our program, how can people find you on the internet?
I have a website which is singtonconsulting.com. And then I also have on social media, Facebook. But you can also go onto my website and submit any questions or concerns. And I'm always available to answer back through our website. You can always submit questions there, and then also I'm always available, via email through that, and then we can go forward from there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So definitely check her out, people. Make sure you go and find her on Facebook. Sounds like her website alone is a good resource to have. And then just make sure, keep those things in mind. Obviously, if you're here, you've already downloaded the book, which included some of the things that she said as well, right? Don't give up a school because of price. Ask for help, right? That's what we're here for, is to make sure that you guys get the help that you need, and definitely plan ahead, and probably further ahead than you might think. So get started today if you have children. There are things that you can do right away. So we will see you on the next video. Everyone have a great day. Check out her website. You'll see the link below at Sington Consulting, the link down. Oh my goodness, was that awesome or what? I mean, I have not found anywhere online yet that has all the information that we are going to be sharing here at College Financial Strategies, right? You can't find it anywhere. I found websites that just have scholarships and grants, and I found websites that just talk about the actual planning side of how to get into college. And I found sites that just have the information about the academics that your kids need to have. And that's definitely not all that to get you in. And I've only found a couple of sites actually that talk about the financial strategies, like what I talk about with parents, to make sure that they're set up financially in order to take care of this information. So this is super exciting. I hope you're excited about what you're learning already. This is just a drop in the bucket though. Oh my gosh. We have so much more in order to give you, because what we want here at College Planning Strategies is that we want you to have the best potential to get the lowest cost for your college for your children, so that they don't have to go out into the world with $30,000 or more in college debt crushing them the day that they go into the real world, right? That's how I was. I paid over $20,000 in college debts by myself. I don't know about you, but I don't want that for my son, right? Do you want that for your kids? I would love, and I know he will, he's going to be able to go out into the world and not think about debt day one, right? $1.5 trillion in college debt in America right now. I don't want my son to be a part of that statistic, and I'm trying to help everyone else in America not be a part of that statistic anymore. So I wanted to give you a couple of other things, right? We're going to put some more tools in your tool belt right now. So I want to make sure that you can get the most, the biggest, the best, all the scholarships without having to spend years of research doing it, right? You heard Cheryl. She's been doing this for 20 years. She knows where to go. She knows about scholarship scams. I didn't even know that until this interview just now, right? Because I'm not on the scholarship side. That's why I brought in a specialist, right? She knows these things. She knows where to go. She was in the educational industry before she even came into this side of it, but it was because she saw the lack of what was going on here. So we want to make sure that you can get the best scholarships all across wherever your child decides to go, and not have to spend years of research doing it. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things, a couple of secrets, that we didn't go over yet that she kind of hit on a little bit. Is first, ticket price, right, of a college. Ticket price is not the actual price. Just like a car, you walk onto a car lot and you're going to wheel and deal with the car dealer, right? And you're not going to pay what it says on that sticker. That's the same thing with college. So when it comes to your child's ability to get into, say, a tier 1 school, and the sticker price is going to be shocking because they're like $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. That's a lot. Don't be surprised by that, but don't take that college off the list because of the sticker price, okay? Because we're going to show you ways that you can get that sticker price reduced drastically. Typically, if this plan is done properly, without Cheryl, this is like not even including Cheryl, who's the scholarship specialist. Without her, we can typically get the ticket price all the way down to any other price of a college. So why not get your kid into a tier 1 school? Do you know that a tier 1 school will increase? So someone who graduates college or high school will have the potential to earn 8 times the income if they graduate from a tier 1 college. That's huge. I want my son to go to a tier 1 college, don't you? Oh my gosh. So let's show you how you can do it without breaking the bank or touching your retirement, right? Because we don't want to destroy that either. Secret number 2, though, is most people don't get more than about 3% of scholarship money, right? I talked on that. I asked Cheryl about it, and she said, yeah, typically they don't get more than 3%, but that's because they don't know where to look. Right? They don't know where to find these scholarships. They don't know how to avoid the scams, where to go and make sure that the scholarships qualify for the school that their child's going to go to. You know, she hit on those things. So that's super duper important. And then secret number 3 is that a lot of people say, oh, well, I'll just do this myself, right? I can do this. I know how to Google things, right? I've been Googling a long time. And one of the things that I found about this information with college planning, as I came into the information, the secret stuff that I learned is not on Google. Like, Google's not the end all. Oh my gosh. Like, you can't find everything on Google today. And it's true. I found some other things in other industries too that you just can't find anywhere. And there are some definite things, because most of the websites that are talking about college planning, guess who they're made by? The colleges. So they're not going to tell you all their insider secret stuff. What I want to offer you, if you will allow me to, is a package of tools. I know you won't be able to find as up-to-date information as what I'm offering, and definitely not all in one place. So besides how much this will save you in money, it will save you just as much in time. First is my book, 29 College Planning Strategies. It's the A to Z of what to do, and I normally sell it for $16. Next is a checklist for the 4 years of high school and beyond. This could potentially save you thousands, because being on time is super important in this arena. Then is my college collection of planning videos. All that is valued easily over $1,000, but that's not all. As a bonus, you'll also get my scholarship strategies book with over 1.3 million available scholarships, and last but not least, a 30-minute financial consultation with me that will produce you a full 20-page financial outlook report. Now, that is a lot, and it is actually valued over $3,600, and although I very well could charge that for all these items, I'm not going to. Each one of these items is actually worth more than what I'm about to offer the entire package for. Right now, it's just $37. So click the button below and get in on this now before I have to take it down, because the consultations are already flooding in and I don't know how long I can leave this up. We'll talk to you soon.